Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm from Team 11525 Minerva's Mechanics from Frederick, Maryland, and this video will be about how to scout. Scouting begins before a competition, believe it or not. First, you're going to create a spreadsheet. Then you're going to add the list of teams that are going to be at the qualifier in numerical order. Then you're going to put three sections: autonomous, teleop or driver controlled, and endgame. Under these sections, label what will be how you can score points in each section. For example, for Rover Ruckus, for autonomous, I would put parking, claiming, sampling, and landing from the lunar lander. Following this, to the right of these sections, you're going to want to create 5 sections under which you'll label them something along the lines of points scored and each match. Then you're going to create another section to the right of that determines whether or not a team is good and why. You might want to create black barriers in between these, or have your scouting team members make a darker line in between these. Scouting before the matches begin, but at the competition, you will want to give out all the spreadsheets you made, preferably printed out in my opinion, just because it's easier than using a phone, for example. And then you're going to want to divide and conquer. So you will go to every single team, or if you're in more than one group, you'll split off how many teams you're going to get and go through those. And basically, you're going to ask them what they can do in autonomous, teleop or driver controlled, and endgame. You might also want to ask more personal questions about their robot, such as how reliable they think they are, how many hours they've practiced driving, how many autonomous codes they have, like can they go from each location, do they prefer one, anything that relates to the current game, or if you have a specific question regarding mechanisms within the robot. Following this, you're going to want to regroup and create a master sheet. Personally, my scouting team, we only like to make one master sheet because it's easier to rifle through. You won't have so many extra papers. And then following that, once the match schedule has come out for the day, the scouting team will want to go out and talk to all of the teams you'll be allied with to see where they will be starting in autonomous, if you'll run into each other, or if there's anything specific to the game that year that you'll want to discuss. Scouting during competitions, method 1. This method will require the most work and 4 people total. Assign one person to watch each team during the match, such as red 1, blue 1, red 2, blue 2, and then record the scores as well as what each team does on a new spreadsheet. After teams have completed about 3 or 4 matches each, you'll want to look at how good each team is. This will require looking at the scores, looking at how reliably they did certain tasks, and looking at how their robot functions in terms of compatibility towards your robot. Remember, during this, never look at just the rankings, because this could reflect good teams as well as teams that have been carried by good teams, and you don't want to be stuck with a mediocre to bad team. Remember to be on the lookout for upward and downward trends, because perhaps a robot didn't do well at the beginning, however they fixed a lot during the matches, and they're doing much better. It might be a great pick for your team. Then, as matches finish up, finalize your list. Scouting during matches, method 2. This will be a medium amount of work and only require 2 people. So you're going to assign one person to watch the Red Alliance and one to watch the Blue Alliance. Now, during this, you're going to try and record as much as you can about each robot. However, of course, you're not going to get everything down because you're one person watching 2 robots. So you'll try to get at least 3 full matches of what a team can do. This will help with the reliability issue. And so again, during this, you will look at, after 3 to 4 matches, how good each of the teams are. And you'll look at how many points they scored themselves, how many their alliance scored, how reliably they operated, and their compatibility to your team. Never look at the rankings, again, because this doesn't necessarily reflect upon how good a team is and how compatible they are to your team. And then after the matches start to wrap up, you'll want to finalize this list. Scouting during matches, method 3. This method requires the least amount of work and only one person. However, of course, the results are less accurate. So what you're going to do is you're going to try and record what each team can do in at least one match, because you can't watch everything. So you're going to be relying on mostly the scores for this, and I'm going to tell you how statistically you can try and figure out what teams are good and what teams are not. In terms of compatibility, this isn't the best method to use. However, you can go around after the competition all of the qualifying matches are complete and try and see how the robot operates, and if you remember anything from during the game to see, ah yes, this would work very well with our team, or maybe not this team. So ideally, a team has high scores the whole qualifying day for qualifying matches, and you're like, this is a good team, great. And of course, hopefully it's cut and dry, and the teams that aren't so good have low scores the whole day, and you can just cross them off the list. Of course, this won't happen for all teams. Some teams will vary, they'll have upward or downward trends, and these are the ones you're going to have to focus on and try to watch more during the day after you've seen 3 or 4 matches and you're like, all right, here's my list. So if a team has varied scores with no upward or downward trend, this could mean that maybe something broke down, or it could mean that they were carried in some of their matches. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at who their alliance partner was for that match, and ideally they'll either be a clean-cut alliance that was very good the whole time, or a clean-cut alliance where that was very bad the whole time. So this will help you see if the team maybe isn't as reliable or something happened. Of course, if the team is paired with a good team, all the times that they did well, perhaps you should cross this team off your list. They might have been carried by the other teams. Try to watch all of these teams where it's like a maybe, at least once more during the competition. If this isn't possible, go to the teams and ask them about their robot. Then as matches finish up, finalize your list and send it out to your team members to try and talk to other teams. Talking to teams after qualification matches. You ranked 1 through 4. You're going to be an alliance captain. Awesome. So during this event, you're going to need probably 8 teams ranked. So if you're first, you need at least 5 teams. If you're second, you need at least 6. If you're third, you need at least 7. And if you're fourth, you need 8. So 8's a nice number. So you're going to re-inform the team of all of your rankings in order of preference and have them go and talk to every team to just check up on how everything is, how their robot's doing, and make sure that when teams come up to you, because you're going to be an alliance captain, and say, hey, please consider picking us, make sure to consider that and be gracious and professional to them. Talking to other teams after qualification matches. Your team is ranked 5 to 7, so you have a chance of being an alliance captain, but it's not guaranteed. What you're going to do is you're going to have a list ranked of at least 8, because in the event that you become an alliance captain, you're going to need to have 8 ranked. So what you're going to do is you're going to split off into teams. You're going to talk to the teams that you might consider. Don't tell them this because you might not be an alliance captain. And then you're also going to talk to the teams that are ranked above you that you think your robot would be compatible with and you would like to pair with. So when going up to these teams, you're going to have statistics on hand to kind of prove your point of why you would work well together. You can point out your own features, be like, we did this autonomous perfectly 4 out of 5 times, we scored this many points by ourselves in all of these matches, etc. But you can also point out the compatibility. Our second year, this worked really well for us. We weren't necessarily the highest scores, but we were able to get the relic into the 3rd zone, which was something that not a lot of teams could do. So that alliance ended up picking us, and we advanced to states. So, of course, you remember to have at least 8 teams picked, but ideally you're going to be picked by another alliance if you're in this section. Talking to other teams after the qualification matches. Alright, so you have no chance of being an alliance captain. You're ranked 8th or lower. What you're going to do is you're going to have your list of teams that we're compatible with, and you're going to go and talk to them as long as they're ranked higher than you. You're going to bring the stats that I mentioned in the last section and say, hey, we did this that many times. We weren't ranked as high as we thought we would because this happened. Maybe something malfunctioned in the robot, but it's fixed now. It's great. And look at all of these stats of why you should still consider us. Make sure to be gracious and professional in this because you have no say what's going to happen, so you just gotta hope for the best. Again, I'm Rachel from 11525 Minerva's Mechanics. I hope that helped you with scouting, and check the description below for any more information as well as new information about our videos.